made a post concerning how God had gave me a set of instructions, right? He had given me work to do. I was intimidated, right? Probably by the spirit of fear, probably just intimidated because it's something that I didn't think that I had done before. Whatever the case might have been, I was dragging my feet, right? And then when I sat down and did what the Lord had told me to do, I began to realize that the work was already done, and now it was time to actually put the strategy in place. And so I was reading, and I was reading the Bible, and I'm like, God, I know that sounded weird. It probably sounded strange, right? Like God asked me to do something. I drug my feet about it. But when I sat down to do the work, I had already done the work, right? That sounds strange, right? That sounds strange. It sounded strange to me. But guess who else? Guess who else some stuff probably sounded strange at? I was in Exodus 40. I was in Exodus 40, and I'm not going to go through every single verse, but I wanted to lay this out because it was so beautiful to me to read this, because it's exactly what the Lord is calling me to do. But I know that He's having me to share this with you all because it's bigger than me. And so Exodus 40, if we go to verse number 1, I'm not going to go through every detail. Verse number 1, the Lord spoke, right? The Lord spoke. So the Lord started giving Moses instructions. It says that the Lord spoke to Moses. Verse number 2, the Lord said this: on the first day of the first month, this is what's going to happen. But the Lord wanted to remind me at verse 17, it says, and it came to pass. What does that mean? Did Moses not get the instruction? Moses got every detail of every instruction, but you must remember, just as I must remember, that God don't speak to us in right now time. God speaks to us from the future. So all of these things that God had told Moses had not yet come to pass, but Moses having to be in the present time, but knowing that God was preparing something for a future, had to be patient, but he also had to be obedient. He began to do the work that God had called him to do. Moses, in verse 1 and 2, he gave him the instructions. In verses 3 coming all the way down to verses 17, it did not come to pass. Moses did it. The Bible says that Moses did it in verse 16, but in verse 17 is when it came to pass. In verse 17 is when it came to pass. So we can't forget that God ain't on our time.